Thundering Herds victorious tonight over VMI 56-17. Welcome into Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up. Paul Swann and the former young Thundering Herd quarterback, Dave Walsh, with me in studio as we got a lot to go over tonight. This is sort of what we expected. It got off to a slow start, Dave, but the Thundering Herd gets it done, beating VMI 56-17. But this was not your classic VMI team. Man, they were throwing the ball all over the place. I didn't recognize them.
40 times for the night. I mean, they let it fly. And we knew that coming in, and they lived up to the reputation. They let her go.
What stood out to you first? There was a lot to go over in this game, but what stood out to you the most tonight?
Isaiah Green looked so much different than last year up at Miami. 4 touchdown passes, career best. A rough start, tough start, but he hung with it, and he fits the ball in there where needed. He went deep a couple times, the short stuff, and he ran for 46 yards. A couple times he kept on the option. Alex Thompson did too, so maybe I jumped the gun and said he won't run. Maybe Coach Cramsey heard me and said, I'll prove Dave wrong. But I don't know, but it was nice to see. Hey, you have to account for him, hands and feet.
Yeah.
But he had a good night. And, Obialo didn't play. The guy transferred from Kentucky, Mr. Richardson, only caught 3, and yet they still threw for 340 yards. So we found out they got some other horses in the barn that can catch the football.
Everybody got on the score sheet tonight. Everybody got something. Corey Gamage had 5 receptions. Tavian Richardson had 3. Armani Levias had 3. Artie Henry had 2. Brock Thompson had a couple. Henry had a touchdown. Corey Gamage got a touchdown. Xavier Gaines got a touchdown. Willie Johnson got a touchdown. Garrett Morrell got a touchdown. Yeah. I mean, everybody was getting touchdowns, and that's just on the receiving end. On the rushing end, Brendan Knox taking care of business, 10 carries, 43 yards. Again, it was running by committee tonight. Tyler King had 77. Evans had 56. Isaiah Green, as you mentioned, 48 himself.
Yeah.
Knox with 43 and the 2 touchdowns. Alex Thompson, 34 as well. I mean, everybody was getting on the score sheet.
Everybody's getting in action on the scoreboard in the stat sheet, and hopefully transitioning into the fact that come next week and the rest of the season, there's a lot of faces you must account for. You know who the starters are, but that goes much deeper than the first 11.
All-purpose yards, it's tough. You got Sheldon Evans with 106 all-purpose yards here, 56 running, 50 on the kick return, and then Talik Keaton with 109 punt return yards.
Took one back to the house.
Yeah, that's going to add up real quick.
Got to the right sideline and said, beat me in the end zone.
Yeah, Tyler King was doing it the old-fashioned way, 75 yards running, 24 receiving, and then Corey Gamage with 82 yards receiving. So those are your 4 with all-purpose yards there. But I think the big story tonight is just the depth, because Doc was able to take control of this game.
Do what they had to do.
We got to see some other guys get in there.
Yeah, those guys have been working since August, and it's nice to give them a shot to get in the game. And they ran and threw. They didn't just go out there and take a knee. They were inside the 10 when the game ended. They were really in no hurry to score, and they didn't score. But hey, they were still going north and south. They weren't running. They were running out the clock, but we're not going to run up the score any more than what they had to.
And also, as we suspected, I'm not saying it was vanilla, but it
kinda.
I mean, there was a little, maybe a little fudge
pistol
swirl,
every now and then. With,
put a little sprinkle of nuts on that vanilla sundae now and then. But for the most part, I mean, they didn't give up anything. We didn't see what's going to be the game plan for Boise State.
I think there's a few more pages in the playbook that they didn't reveal that might be out on stage Friday night in Idaho. So they have the people that can execute, it looks like. They have the weapons.
They've got to turn right around and to get ready, and they'll do that tomorrow. And what makes this game interesting, because Boise State comes back and beats Florida State.
Right.
So Boise's right now 1-0.
Right.
Marshall's 1-0. And Boise is a team that is always in the conversation for an Access Bowl, and I don't know if
Here we go. You'll probably hear it this week. Here we go.
I don't know if this game is going to be a major determining factor for that Access Bowl, but if Marshall wants to have a shot at it, they got to take care of business on the road against Boise Boise on the blue turf.
As you said earlier today, they control their destiny. They don't need any help at this point. And you don't want to get into a situation where you need help. Boise's right here. Ohio U will be here. Cincinnati will be here. It's right in front of you for the taking.
56-17, your score. Marshall beating VMI. And, whatever the scoreboard might tell you, I thought VMI was actually pretty good out there tonight.
They came in with nothing to lose, very scrappy, even to the final gun. They were playing hard. You hate to see the one guy who was a true freshman get tossed. But he went down near the head on Isaiah on that slide, and that doesn't work anymore. And they reviewed it, and they clarified it and said he did what he did, and he was already heading up the ramp. We saw him heading up the ramp as they made the announcement.
We had to see Alex Thompson also. He was 6 of 7, 102 yards, had 1 touchdown, 1 sack, had a long of 43, and we got to see him in some limited action, but still a lot more.
Him.
Yeah, we got to see him a lot more than maybe
that one time when our starting quarterback, Mr. Green, took that hit, had to come out. He went in, finished off the drive, and I think it ended up being 99 yards scoring drive. I mean, once they got after the 3 and outs, they were getting 80 and 90 yard chunks for touchdowns like it was nothing, which is fun to see.
Long game, but it's over. Marshall gets the victory tonight, defeating VMI. Final score is 56-17. We're going to open the phone lines up for you, 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Give you a chance to join the program tonight. We've also got some player interviews from the locker room. Dave Wilson is hanging out with us tonight as well. He's got a few interviews that we've got lined up with him. We've also got some Doc Holliday comments as well here in a few minutes. We'll get to that. And we'll do it all here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 and 93.7 The Dog. This is Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up.
This is Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up on 93.7 The Dog and ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Marshall's victorious tonight, winning the home opener against former Southern Conference foe VMI 56-17. Got off to a slow start. If you call 14 points in the first quarter a slow start,
I know.
It felt like it was going to be a scoreless first quarter, and then finally things just opened up.
When they got that first touchdown, it's like the floodgates. The old saying, floodgates just opened. End zone kept getting in the way.
Right. When Isaiah Green found Willie Johnson, that was a 29-yard pass, and that got things started. And then just a couple minutes later, Talik Keaton, 67-yard punt return, and all of a sudden it's 14-0, and then here we go. Marshall starts scoring. I'm not going to say at will. VMI was pretty stingy at times out there, but Thundering Herd did get the offense going. We're going to hear a little bit later on from Talik Keaton. I mean, that's one way to get the coach's attention. Run one back for 67 yards.
They always say when you first come, if you're not starting, you'll see special teams action. If you make an impact, and I would say Mr. Keaton got off to a very good start tonight with an impact.
Some people think maybe that special teams is a punishment if you're on a football team. For Doc Holliday, no, that's
very important.
It's
very important.
Either an audition or, hey, I really need you there because we can do something. We can make some things happen here.
Yeah, he wants 11, his 11 best for that position out there. And for the most part, of course, with Warwasser's kickoffs landing at McDonald's or on 3rd Avenue, that helps. But when a guy takes a punt back, you got to pay attention. He's got their attention.
Dave Wilson is going to be with us again on most home games and maybe a couple of road games as well. So he caught up with Levi Brown just a couple minutes ago. And Levi is, as I joked with him earlier in the week, he's the center of attention here.
Yeah, literally.
He's up front making things happen. And let's get his impressions of the game. Here's Dave Wilson with Levi Brown.
Here with center Levi Brown. Herd picks up the win, opening night, big night for the offense. Just how'd it feel to get out there one more time?
It's one of those things that as an offense we look forward to. Everyone looks forward to the first game the most because it's one of those where you get tired of camp, you get tired of hitting the same people over and over and over. And just to get out there for my, last first game with a special group of guys at O-line that we've gotten so close, it was an emotional time for me just to finally get it kicked off, and once it did, we started slow but got it rolling, and that was a good confidence boost for us, knowing that we could adjust to something quick, which VMI came out and brought out a different defense we hadn't seen before, and just to be able to go out there and adjust quick on the spot, which I think is a big sign of maturity in our group.
What was going through your mind there in the pregame tunnel before you take the field for your final season opener?
It was one of those things where, we knew almost that they were going to bring out a different look they hadn't shown all year on film because they had 8 months to come up with a whole new scheme on defense. And I was kind of just thinking through the game plan of what we had and what was in front of us at that point in time. All the jitters were pretty much gone at that point. I was just excited to go out there and execute.
You're the old man of that group up front now. Does that change your role this season a little bit? You're rotating some guys in, a lot of talent, but you're the only senior up there.
It's different coming in and playing as a redshirt freshman and playing every game since then, because you've gone through the progression completely, from being the young guy in the room that was a player and then just slowly building your way up. And to finally be a fifth-year senior, like you said, with the guys with, a lot of talent, it's one of those things where, it's going to be special, but at the same time, you don't know how special it'll be until it gets rolling. And having the opportunity to go out there and perform how we did, I think, just does a really good job of showing the crowd and everyone else what the O-line can really be this year.
How much fun are you having when Isaiah's throwing for 4 touchdowns, Knox gets rolling, King gets rolling? How much fun are you guys having up front?
It's a great thing to see Isaiah throw touchdowns to different receivers every single time. I think it was a different receiver with a touchdown. And seeing Knox running and getting his 2 bruising runs in for touchdowns, and seeing King does what he does best, just bursting through holes and making people miss on second level. It's one of those things that gives you confidence that we're clicking right now. Even though it's only week 1, it's a big confidence boost going into a really big week here. And I think it's something that we really needed to put on film.
Quick turnaround. Boise State won today. Everybody's talking about them. You get a chance with them coming up on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the hotel, we watched as much of that game as we could, just to kind of get a little bit of a jump start on those guys. But, we only saw the first half or so it's only so much to look forward to. But no matter how much film we watch, we all know the blue turf's still going to be there, and Boise State's still going to show up and play, so we got to go out and do the same.
Congratulations tonight. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Senator Levi Brown.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. And he's right. Levi's the old hand out there now.
He's the veteran. If you ask him, it would be a surprise. Though. You think 1 minute he's a redshirt starter, and now fifth-year senior is going where did it all go? So each week will be very meaningful to him, and tonight he felt pretty good. VMI shows a few wrinkles early. They come to the sideline, adjust things, and boom. 620 yards later, 56-17.
On the defensive side, Thundering Herd, for the most part, kept things clamped down. Now, there was a couple mistakes out
breaks, there. Breakdowns, but overall.
I thought it was a good effort. They took care of what they needed to take care of, and one guy that was all over the place tonight. He wasn't credited with any solos, but Tavante Beckett had 7 assists, and he also was credited for half of a tackle for loss for 1 yard. Also had 1 breakup. So he's all over the place tonight.
That's what you want. I mean, linebacker, guys tie him up front, turn him loose, and he had a way to find where the football is, run to it, and be part of the action, which made Coach Lambert, the first year as a coordinator, I'm sure pretty happy when it comes to looking at the film tomorrow.
Dave Wilson's back with us, and he has got Tavante Beckett.
Joined now by Tavante Beckett. They had him for 7 tackles. You know what? I'm going to go back and check the game film. You were all over the place tonight.
Yes, sir. Just getting my feet back wet. Haven't played in a couple of years, so it's just getting my feet wet and getting that pressure up off me. So it felt good to get out there and make a couple plays.
Were there pregame jitters? Were there butterflies? What were you feeling before the game?
I'd be lying if I say I wasn't nervous, but I really had to really just talk to myself. Really, just go be the player you know you can be, and go do what you know you can do, and you done did in fall and spring since I got here. I feel like I've been a practice. Coach called me a practice All-American, so now it's just time to go get my stripe off, go get my red stripe off. So I felt like I did good today. Didn't really miss the tackles, no MAs, so very productive day.
Feel good to get that first hit in and then kind of roll from there.
Yeah, I was because I had a little stinger going through the week, so I kept warming up my neck, heating it up, stretching out, got out there. Didn't feel anything, so good to have the health.
Ask Nazeeh Johnson about this. Jaquan goes down, he gets hurt, but you've got to put that behind you. You still had a lot of game to play.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody that love him like I do. Coming from high school together and stuff. So, just seeing him go down took me a couple minutes, couple plays to get over it. But I just try to play through him, through his spirit, because I felt him when he was out there. And, we both had our first career starts, and I felt the presence early. So when he went down, it kind of hit me. But then it's just like we got a job to finish, and if he can't be out there, we're just gonna finish it for him. You know what I'm saying? So
big opportunity coming up on Friday night.
Yes, sir. I love playing on ESPN. So just looking forward to playing them. I know they had a competitive game. I don't know if they won or lost, but I know it was a close game, and it's a little
Well, I can tell you, they did win.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Well, that's good. Better for us, for real, both of us 1-0. Ain't nobody, somebody got to lose, somebody got to win. So the better prepared team will win. So.
Devontae Becker, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
He's excited. He didn't know. He didn't know who they. He was focused in on this one.
I'm sure, like you mentioned, he really felt because they were him and Joaquin Yulee are from the same high school in Virginia, near where I grew up. So he's looking at his teammate who both making their first starts down, and we watched that hit replay time and again. And it's just like, man. And it was a long time before they got him on the cart and wheeled him off the field. But he did put the old hand up.
Yeah.
That gave the crowd a little hope of like, he'll be okay.
I felt uneasy the whole time watching that.
No, because it's one of those things, the longer you're down, the more nervous you go, like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah. I wasn't power tweeting this game, but when that happened, Dave,
that got you going.
I didn't want to say a word.
No, because the VMI guy was down too, but then he got up, walked
Right.
to the sideline for a little while. But Joaquin stayed down, and then they bring a cart, then they bring something else, they bring the brace. They were very gentle, very careful, which you have to be. But the encouraging thing, the hand signed when he went up in the crowd of 23,000 plus. And all the Herd players went out before he left. They didn't go on the sideline. They went out and said, "Bill, for you, baby." So he got a lot of support on the way out, and I guarantee you he'll be working as hard as he can to get back.
Let's talk offense.
Yes.
Corey Gamage had 5 receptions, 82 yards, had 1 long of 33. Touchdown in those stats, and you look at what he was able to do out there tonight. Really, Marshall had 340 yards from the receivers, and it came from a multitude of guys tonight.
Well, you're first and foremost, you're going Corey Gamage. Where was he last year? Because it was Mr. Brady and the gang. Just shows you the way that Coach Holliday and Cramsey have a system. Tyree's gone. The next wave is coming in. There's Gamage. And once again, they've got 3 guys that are listed as tight ends. They don't play that way. And at one time, a linebacker got caught on one of them going deep, had pass interference. Those tight ends can cause trouble and just spread the ball around, as Mr. Green and Mr. Thompson did.
Yeah. So Isaiah finds Gamage for that 33-yard pass, 9:58 to go in the third quarter, and the Herd goes up 42-7. And all in all, good day for the wide receivers. Nobody went over 100, but as a team, 340 yards, you get the victory. I don't think anyone cares about stats like that. Dave Wilson caught up with Corey Gamage, and let's go back to Dave.
Corey Gamage, 33-yard touchdown catch tonight. How did it feel to get in the end zone in Game 1?
It's a blessing to get in the end zone. I'm very excited. Couldn't do nothing without my team. Team motivated me, kept going, pushing me. So, yeah.
Isaiah, he spreads the ball around tonight. I think 8 different receivers he hit. 4 different receivers scored touchdowns tonight. How do you feel about the chemistry you've been building with Isaiah Green throughout, and all the quarterbacks throughout camp?
That's a wonderful experience. Like, we compete every day. We go against each other. Against our defense, good defense every day. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? You got to put this one behind you quickly, get ready to take on Boise. What are you looking forward to with that opportunity to go out there and play on the blue turf?
Oh, that's a wonderful opportunity. I feel like we just ready for them. Got to compete, execute everything, no mistakes. Yeah, win the game.
With all the receivers out there, you spreading the ball around, defenses aren't going to be able to focus in on just one guy. There's a lot of weapons out there to work with.
Yeah, there's a very lot of weapons. And I think that's our edge on them. They don't know what's coming at them. So, yeah.
How much fun was it, again, just to get out in game action after a long camp and all the work to get ready for it?
Wonderful, wonderful. We worked hard. The whole team worked hard, from the offensive line, defensive line, to the secondary, to skilled guys, running backs. We just worked hard. Very fun.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
That's Corey Gamage, 33-yard touchdown reception.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you tonight. Still to come, we're going to hear from Doc Holliday. We've got more coming from the Shuey building. We'll get your phone calls in at 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. We'll run down all the action in Conference USA and take a look at the action in the top 25. Not a pleasant day for a lot of teams, Dave. Doc Holliday tells you every week you're going to open that newspaper up. You're going to see a team that should have won. They lost. Well,
right.
Doc's going to open up that newspaper tomorrow, and he's going to see all those scores.
Yes.
And then he's going to take it to practice and say, see, I told you.
Just like I've told you for years upon years. Tonight we performed, threw potential out the window, and somebody else is worrying about maybe they should have won and ended up lost. We took care of business. That's what it takes every week to do that.
Marshall's victorious tonight over VMI 56-17. You're listening to Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 and 93.7 The Dog.
R. Marshall. This is Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up on 93.7 The Dog and ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Marshall's victorious tonight over VMI 56-17, just the way you expected it to go against a former Southern Conference foe. Herd's got a 15-game win streak on VMI now. How about that? 15 games.
Exactly. In the pregame, we're talking early on, it was the other way around, back and forth, and now it's just, sorry, you're the old 1AA. We've moved up to 1A, and they've made them pay for it. 15, and they have not been close either. I mean, there is major separation.
So the Thundering Herd victorious tonight. Doc Holliday, maybe he's happy? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Here's Doc Holliday addressing the media after the victory.
Okay, obviously, I thought the first half was pretty clean. You give up the one wheeler out there that in the first half there, but played a lot of players in the second half and wasn't quite as clean. But we've got to get better. We got a quick turnaround. So those guys in the locker room, tomorrow's Monday. So, and believe it or not, 3 days from now we're on a plane heading out to Boise. So it's going to be a quick turnaround for us. Did some good things out there. We just got to get better in all three phases because we've got a great challenge here coming up on Friday night.
You kind of threw it around a good amount, Coach, and I think 11 different receivers. That's important without OB and without Tyree from last year?
Yeah, I think so. And it's also some young kids step up, make some plays, and we had to throw it. I mean, they put 8-9 guys in the box there all the time. I mean, you got to force you to throw the ball around a little bit. So that's what we did. I saw Corey Gamage, step up, make a couple. Brock Thompson, a couple freshmen there, and so that's good to see. And because we're going to need those guys down the road. Obi, we don't discuss injuries. We can't because of athletic policy, but he'll be back. I mean, it'll be good to get him back. But it was great to see some of those young kids go and make some plays today.
I know you can't talk about Jaquan specifically, but how do you feel your team rebounded? That's a tough thing to come back.
Yeah, that's anytime somebody gets hurt, that's not a good thing. So I mean, he eventually is going to be all right. I mean, with that being said, you just hate to see anybody get hurt, and I thought they came back and reacted well, and as well as they could. So, that's a tough deal.
19 straight games now. You guys have won when scoring first. How important is it for your team? How crucial is it to get that going?
Well, we're 39-1 now, scoring first. So maybe I should start taking the ball a little bit on kickoffs. I don't know, but it seems like we've played well when we score first, and of course that may be a lot of teams in the same boat we are there. But that being said, again, I thought our team went out and did what we were supposed to do. We went out and played like we're supposed to play. And now, again, we got to put that one behind us and get ready for Boise. What a great win they had at Florida State, down 18, came back and beat them, and it'll be a challenge for us, but a challenge we're looking forward to.
Corey Gamage and Sheldon Evans are two younger guys that you all really tried to rep out during preseason practice. So how important was it to make sure you jumped out to the lead and got those guys some significant touches?
Yeah, we were trying to get Corey touches. Stone Scarcelli's another guy's got to step up and play for us at times with Obi being not there today, and Brock Thompson's another young kid, so it's great to see all those guys. Sheldon, you mentioned, he's played a little football for us, but not much, and got Papillon in there a little bit there towards the end. So, especially defensively, I mean, that whole second half, we just basically played, our backup. Number one, we did it because we wanted to get them some work, but number two, we did it because we had a quick turnaround this week. So I think hopefully that'll help us a couple of days down the road.
That the redshirt rule is still kind of new and fresh. Yeah, you get used to it. Yeah. How much talk is there during a game? Like, well, there was talk. Do we?
There was talk tonight. There was talk. And you're right. Najee McDaniel's the guy we like a lot, and we were going to throw him in there. And you're sitting there with 4 minutes to go in the game. And you're up whatever you're up, and you say, well, you know what? We got 4 games he can play and still redshirt. So why stick him? It's kind of a double-edged sword. You throw him in there and get him some experience there, and then you say, well, I only got 3 games left. So that being said, we decided not to play him, and those freshmen that you saw play today, the Eli Neals, Brock Thompsons, Corey Gamage, those guys, they're all going to play. I mean, they're not going to redshirt. Those guys have to play.
Especially with Yulee going down. I mean, the Jacorian Andersons, the Eli Neals, this game becomes, sort of magnified for those guys going in the next week.
No question. Those guys have to play. And then, of course, Micah Abraham, I think we'll have Drayton back this week, which will be huge. That's he should be ready to roll tomorrow. So if we can get that guy back, he'll help us as well.
Were you running any plays for Corey, or did he just kind of emerge from what you?
No, we were trying to get the ball. We wanted to see how he would react there. I thought he made some plays. Probably had one play after he should have made that he didn't. But I thought he made some catches. I hope that'll give him some confidence. He's a good player, and he's going to be an excellent player for us. And it's great to see him get his feet wet there a little bit and make some catches there at the end.
Did today sort of signal, and I know it's been talked about a lot preseason, but did it sort of signal the shift in the passing game as far as everything seemed kind of Tyree-centric last year, whereas today I think 8 different receivers at halftime?
Yeah, I think Tyree we targeted. Number one, he's a hell of a player. But that being said, I think you're right. I think we spread the ball around a little more, and that probably help us down the road there.
How much is that Isaiah's growth, just being able to get through his progression?
There's no doubt. I mean, you see him growing, and I saw we wanted to get him back in. He took that shot there on that where he was sliding there. I wanted to get him one more series in the second half, which we did. And I thought, with the exception of the one play Alex made there, he played well. You got to get the ball and throw it in the stands at that point. So, that being said, other than that, I thought he played well, which was good to see.
Special teams guys, Talik Keaton is a guy that you've been high on since the spring, and what do you like the best about him at return?
He makes good decisions. He handles the ball. He makes good decisions. And heck, with the one he returned for a touchdown, our guys did a nice job. But they had a block on at that point, and the guys come back and made a couple key blocks for him. Made some good decisions where you had an opportunity to. That new rule with his peel back, and we had one of them called Hodge, but a couple of those, if you peel back now and block a guy without using your hands, that's a penalty. And I thought our guys did a nice job at times walling some guys off on that particular return and did what they were coached to do.
How happy were you there with Garrett Morrell at the end of the game there?
I mean, again, that's good for him, Garrett. I just wanted to go play. But I'm happy anytime a young, and it's good to see a guy who's been a quarterback his whole life, find a role on the team. With this transfer portal and the way everything is now, these kids are so selfish at times, and they leave for the wrong reasons. They just pick up and leave. Whereas you see, we have 2 quarterbacks. Garrett, who's moved to tight end, and now he's helping our team in different ways. And Alex Thompson, there's a lot of people that like to have him as their quarterback around the country right now. And he stayed to get his master's and graduate from Marshall, and he's playing a big role with us as well. So I think just that says a lot about those kids and what Marshall means to them. And there's not very many schools in America that can keep 2 quarterbacks, move one and the other one stay and play a backup role. But it's happening here, which is great.
600 yards of offense, and it seemed like it didn't matter, what combination you used on the offensive front. You all were able to get a pretty good push, and the backs were reading well.
Yeah, especially second half. I thought first half we struggled, but again, at times you put 8 or 9 guys in. They always had an unblocked guy there in the first half. That's why we were completing some big shots and that type of thing with throwing the ball. So you got to have the ability to do both. If you become one-dimensional in this business, I don't know what that Tennessee-Georgia State game ended up, but it was tied late in the fourth quarter. Did it? Really? How about that? How many times I sat here and said, every week somebody's going to get beat that shouldn't. Well, how about Georgia State? And Northern Iowa should have beaten Iowa State, I guess. Ball's on the ground, the guy fumbles if they lose. So, James Madison just about beat West Virginia. So, every time you walk out there, if you're not prepared to play now, you've got a chance of getting beat. And I think this first week of college football sure sets that, proves that point. That's for sure.
What's the biggest challenge? I know it's a quick turnaround, but what's the biggest challenge trying to prepare for Boise State in less time than normal?
I think the good thing is we've been preparing for Boise State all summer. It's early in the season, and we had all summer to so everything's done on Boise with the exception of the Florida State game. So we'll add that Florida State game to it tonight. We'll get going tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a Monday practice for us. We'll actually practice Monday. Tomorrow will be a Monday, and then Monday will be a Tuesday. Tuesday will be a Wednesday, and then we're out here Wednesday morning early, have a Thursday, and get ready to go play. So, we won't be behind. I think the biggest thing is just the recovery part of it. Normally you have Sunday to come in, and all they do is lift and treat and that type of thing, and get off their feet. Well, now, so I told them, I said, you go home and go to bed, and take care of each other, because we got to come back here tomorrow, and not only do we have to lift and treat, we got practice. And that was one thing we tried to do that game. I don't think anybody played a lot of snaps in that game, which was a good thing. I think most of those defensive guys, or even the offensive guys, were out of there after the first half. So hopefully that'll help us a little bit as far as our recovery goes to be able to go ahead and get a good Monday practice tomorrow, which is Sunday.
You've been out there early too, so the extra day will help you a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think thanks to Mike. And I mean, and we kind of, everywhere Boise goes, because they travel a lot in Hawaii, and those teams, they go 2 days, because it's such a flight. And I told our team that's going to be a great experience for our kids. I mean, we get to go out as a team and spend 2.5 days together and get ready to go play. So I know I'm excited. Our kids are excited. And then I think it'll help us in the long run as well, because we're playing on a Friday. So now we come all the way back here, which is a long-ass flight. We'll get back here at probably, 7, 8 o'clock Saturday morning. But now we have Saturday totally off, and now we can get ready for the following week too. So we're not really a day short the following week. So I think it falls in place pretty well, and we just got to execute the plan.
You like the matchup with Boise State? I mean, it's been two of the more successful Group of 5 programs.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm looking. I think it's a great game for us. I think it's a great game for, as you mentioned, two of the most successful power or Group of 5 programs out there has been us and Boise, and right down the line there. So I think it's exciting for us to be able to play them, and we get to worry about the other two teams that are picked to win their leagues when we get back after we play Boise. So got a lot of great challenges ahead of us, but we just got to keep going, keep getting better. Anything else? Thanks, guys.
That's Doc Holliday addressing the media earlier this evening after the victory. What stood out to you, Dave?
The game plan for Boise's in. He said we had it all summer, just had what they saw at Florida State today. They're leaving a day early, get the extra day to, and there are 2 days to unify out there. But their game plan is probably pretty close to ready. But Doc said the biggest thing, turnaround.
I think that's interesting and also pretty smart on Doc's part. We knew that they would game plan for VMI, that they would go into that game as a normal week. But I also knew that they weren't just sitting around waiting for the first Boise State game. They were going to have the scout on them early and often, have all the film ready. They know that that's going to be the more important game. I mean, you got to get past game one. That's important. And VMI, to their credit, came out, made it interesting for a little while.
Yeah, there's some wrinkles at them that Coach said, and they adjusted. But
at the end of the day, Marshall was going to win this game.
Right.
This was a game Marshall was going to win. Now they're ready to go, get that Florida State game footage and get it broken down and go to work. And as Doc has been known to do, he has bent time and space once again. So now Sunday is Monday, Monday is Tuesday, Tuesday is Wednesday, and so forth and so forth. So Friday night is going to be Saturday.
Right.
Does that mean that Saturday's Sunday? I don't know. Do I get 2 Saturdays?
I don't know. Does that mean like when they do the post game, it's like now we can get back to normal and it's a high U week? I mean, we've already prepared for a high U. It's just we can add their film, but I don't know. Well, I knew you were going to bring up the Tuesday is Monday is Tuesday and whatever.
Oh no, I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we had it right.
That
here.
has been modus operandi for anytime a Friday night game comes up. That's everything backs up a day.
So Sunday is now Monday, Monday is Tuesday, and
they're having their coaches show Tuesday night. Right. They're flying out Wednesday.
Okay, so the coaches show is going to be on Tuesday, so that's Wednesday. So now we're moving the coaches show to Wednesday in dock time.
Right.
And
there's 4 time zone and there's dock time.
Exactly. When we come back, we're going to hear for some more players from the post game, and we're going to get your phone calls in 877-420-TALK 877-420-8255. This is Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap Up.
Our game day continues with Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up. 93.7 The Dog and ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Marshall's victorious tonight. It's the home opener, and the Thundering Herd gets the win by defeating VMI. Final score in this one. And, folks, let me tell you, this is a game that was long, 56-17. 3 hours and 34 minutes was the total time, and this one kickoff was 6:36 p.m. End of game, 10 after 10.
We were there a while.
Yeah, we were there a while. 23,875 show up in the stands to see the Thundering Herd get the victory. And as we talked about earlier, there was one moment where I didn't want to say a thing. I was just sitting there, and that was when Yulee went down. So we get the word from Twitter, and this is from his Twitter account. Jaquan Yulee tweeted out, "Well, Herd fans, I just want to be the first to say, but I'm done for the season, and I'll be going into surgery tomorrow morning. Thank you all again for everything. So he's out for the season.
Yes.
And that's according to Twitter. That's
straight from him.
That's from his Twitter account. And so, what's that say for that young man? Works hard, and here he is.
First start.
Yeah, and he's out. I mean, you wish nothing but prayers for him, and speedy recovery. But that's got to be tough to take. That's a tough one right there.
Very tough. And as you mentioned, his sidekick, Mr. Beckett, really, as he said, took 2 or 3 plays to get over the fact that he was gone. And I'm sure those guys looking at him up close are thinking this is not going to be good when the final word comes down. And it wasn't.
So once again, and this again, according to Yuli's Twitter account, he is done for the season, going into surgery tomorrow morning. So he thanked all the Herd fans again for everything. That's a tough one there. So our thoughts and prayers with him as well. Is at the end of the day, you don't want to see any of these kids hurt.
No.
And it sounds like it's positive though. I mean, nothing here says anything other than he's out for the season, but he's got to go have surgery.
Right. And he'll be the first one to go to work to come back from it, if at all possible.
You're listening to Todd Judy Ford College Football Wrap-Up. Paul Swann and Dave Walsh with you here. We're getting close to the midnight hour, and we've still got a lot to get into. We've got the Conference USA scoreboard. We're going to run that down here in a few minutes, but we're going to go back into the media scrum. Isaiah Green, your winning quarterback. Mr. Green got a little time off after business was taken care of. He was 18 of 28, 1 interception, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns. Nobody touched him. Alex Thompson got sacked one time. Mr. Green did not get touched all night. And our very own Bill Cornwell was in the media scrum earlier, catching up with Isaiah Green.
A good start to the season. Talk about this game tonight.
I think we started a little slow on offense, but once we got it rolling, it was easy to, keep that momentum and build off of it.
I think everybody got a chance to see tonight. You got a lot of weapons there, don't you? You get the ball in a lot of guys' hands. Distributed it well.
Yes, sir. We got a lot of different receivers, and I feel confident with all of them being out there on the field. We've been working hard since spring ball, so we built a good chemistry, and we just trying to keep that rolling into the season.
What was the defense as chaotic and helter-skelter as what you all anticipated in the film, or
it was actually more chaotic and whatever that other word.
How do you all overcome that? I know it takes a couple drives to sort of see what they're doing, but what were you all talking about on the sideline after about midway through the first?
I was just making adjustments. I feel like in this game that was our adversity. Adversity comes in every game, and I feel like it came in that fashion in this game. So we just worked through that, made adjustments, and we came out with a win.
Isaiah, you got that shot, and then Coach said he wanted to give you another series. I saw you go to the locker room. You wanted to go back in, I'm sure, right, and do it again. Talk a little bit about. Did you all have a conversation about it, or?
Yeah, we did. I took the shot, and he came, and everybody, all the athletic trainers was asking me was I okay. I went through the concussion protocol and I passed it, so I told him I want to go. So I came out. We came out, scored on that drive, and after that, my night was over.
How big was it to come back after what happened with Jaquan, and you guys rally around him and then come back out and take care of business?
Yeah, it was big because with Yuli going down, we was playing for him, so I know a lot of people probably got a little shaken when I went down. So I just wanted to come back and let everybody know that I was fine and I could still play.
What's that time like whenever you see one of the guys you've gone through the preseason with down on the field and it's a pretty scary scene there. What are you all talking about during that time and what's going on?
That's always a tough time because these are people you spend most of your days with. We spend more time with each other than we spend with our own families. So when it hurts to see one of the guys that you've been working hard with for 8 months just to play 12 games go down and not have a chance to finish it out there.
You get your wide receivers. You mixed it around a lot. Corey Gamage ended up stepping up and getting 5 catches for you. How are you feeling with them as far as a confidence level?
I feel confident with all our receivers. I feel like they all have the ability to make plays, and I feel like they all, when the ball comes their way, they're going to make their play.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Isaiah Green addressing the media earlier tonight after the victory. What stands out to you there, Dave?
He went through concussion protocols, he said, and he said, I want back out there to show I'm okay. He did. They took him for the drive, and then coach said, okay, Alex, take it in from here. So he made his point, 4 touchdown passes, 200, over 200 yards. So last year we wondered who it would be. Tonight we knew who it would be, and he came through. He came through, and that was a shot he took. We saw that replay several times. And that's right after Euler, and you're going, oh, go, not another one. But he got up, walked off, and passed the protocol and said, Coach, I want back. And they gave him that shot, and then yanked him.
Like how the team rallied around Euler as well. They wanted to go out there, perform for him, because I'm sure they knew what was going on a little bit sooner than we knew what was going on as far as his overall.
Right there looking at it.
Yeah, his overall condition and what he's going through. But still, yeah, these guys have shown that there's a lot more unity on this team than we've seen maybe in seasons past.
Right.
It feels like it's there.
A family atmosphere, so to speak. And the family's getting for like 2.5-day trip out west. A business trip, but it's still family, chance to grow.
Speaking of family atmosphere, I know one family member that's going to get a nice Christmas gift if he keeps this up is Talik Keaton. Let's talk about this. Punt returns, 5 for 109 yards, had a long of 67.
Freshman.
That's saying something right there.
As you mentioned, freshman and special teams, that's Doc's one of his specialties. He's going to put the 11 best there. Keaton gives us the best chance to catch it, advance it, and if he takes it to the house, so be it.
Yeah.
And he did. Another 10 guys got the wall and sealed it off. Proper blocking techniques. Everybody's checking for the hanky. There was none, and touchdown.
So he gets that punt return, 67 yards, puts the herd up after the point after, 14-0, and then you start feeling it roll.
Yes.
That was what got everything going. Bill Cornwell back in the media scrum. We catch up with Talik Keaton.
Talik, you made a pretty big splash there. Was that in the plans to go and take one back to the house?
Yes, sir. I found the crease, and I was just like, I got to take it.
Talk about that, just what that means to you, to really your first crack at doing this here and then taking it to the house.
It was the greatest feeling ever. Like, when I caught the ball, I seen everybody flowing into me. I bounced out, and I just seen green grass, and it was the best feeling when I got in the end zone.
And a little stretch to the tape, right? That's what that looked
yes,
like,
sir,
right?
Yes, sir. Back to the track days. Yes, sir.
How about the win? The big win. You guys went out, and obviously with Jaquan getting hurt, you guys rallied around him, and then went out and did what you had to do.
Yes, sir. We just got to come back tomorrow, get prepared for the next game, and just fix the little things that we had out here today.
Next game's a pretty big one, too, heading out to Boise. Talk a little bit about that in a short week.
We got to come back tomorrow. We have practice tomorrow, actually, to get ready for the game Friday, and we just got to step it up because they had a big game today. They came out with a win against Florida State, so we got to come prepared. Got a big game next because it's the next one up. So, yes, sir.
For you personally, how gratifying is it when you see the success in the first game after the effort that you put in the spring and in the preseason leading up to it? That was one thing that coaches talked about during the preseason was he had a terrific spring and sort of showed itself to that.
Yes, sir. It was great. When my number's called, I just got to do my job. So that's the only thing I can do.
What is special teams like for this team? I know a lot of teams talk about it, but it seems like it takes on a different dynamic for this team.
Oh yes, sir. Like every special team, we spend 30 minutes a day on every special team, and we just work our craft so we can be great at it.
But can you see? I know that you're in the middle of a play, but it looked like somebody could have had a block in the back there if they had used their hands, but they sort of walled it off.
No, I did not see that. I just looked to the end zone. Yes, sir.
All right, Talik Keaton talking to the media earlier, and you just draw it up like that. I'm just going to run to the house and get a touchdown, and here we go.
And I hope my teammate doesn't block in the back, and he didn't. And if he did, it wasn't called.
How tough is that? You make that run, and you just look back, but please let this be clean.
And one of those things when you do that, and so many times you see something, the block happens. Maybe the block in question, it's like 3, 4, 5 yards behind the guy and says, dude, he's already passed him. Let him go. Let him go to the house, which he did. He showed the burner going down the sideline.
I don't want to have those conversations if that was my score. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ran 67 yards.
And you took it off the board.
I'm tired now, and you took that off the board. We got college football scores to go over before we call it a night here. Several games. I'll tell you what. Let's start with Conference USA, and then we'll get into top 25. We do have one top 25 game to start with in Conference USA. Unfortunately, not a good night for the Lane Train as number 5 Ohio State defeats FAU 45-21. FAU scoring the most of their points in the fourth quarter. Pretty much garbage time at that point.
Right. When it was like matter time, it was all Buckeyes, a new coach, a new quarterback, and looked like the same old scarlet and gray, just different names. Same result.
Incarnate Word takes the loss to UTSA today, 35-17 there, so UTSA is 1-0.
Right. Was expected. We joked about a doubleheader. No, they took care of business. Incarnate Word's in the rearview mirror, on to the next one.
Southern Miss, thankfully, taking care of business against Alcorn State, 38-10 there, so no worries. Southern Miss taking care of it.
A little slow. They're watching their score, but when it's all said and done, Coach Hobson's gang got it done. And I think enough to get a convincing start, knowing there's bigger things ahead.
How worried were the folks at Old Dominion? Norfolk State making that a game. Old Dominion wins at 24-21, but Norfolk State scoring 15 in the fourth quarter to really, let's put it this way, I'd be sweating right now if I was Old Dominion.
You had to score a late touchdown to pull it out. And their new stadium could have been a tough opener with a rival right across the street taking them down, but they didn't. They survived.
So offense is a thing at North Texas. Defense, maybe not so much. But again, some of this coming in garbage time. North Texas with the win over Abilene Christian, 51-31. Abilene Christian scoring 14 in the fourth. North Texas looks like they called the dogs off.
Yeah.
They scored a lot of points early, and second half just called the dogs off.
Right. Check out what Mason Fine did. He's the face of the Mean Green, the quarterback.
Same thing for Michigan. They called the dogs off, it looks like, in the second half, defeating Middle Tennessee 40-21. So 7th-ranked Michigan and 5th-ranked Ohio State having fun in Conference USA today.
Sacrificial Saturday. Although the visiting team scored first in that game. We're on the press box going, whoa, what's going on in Ann Arbor? Middle scored first.
7-0.
Did Stock still sneak in? No, they took care of business.
Houston Baptist making it interesting for UTEP, but UTEP gets the win.
In the skid.
36-34.
The streak is over.
This is an interesting one here. So UTEP's now 1-0. Number 10, Texas, taking care of Louisiana Tech, 45-14 there. Not much to say. Longhorn Network got a real boring one today.
They got one, and Texas is one of those teams like flying under the radar a little bit, and it's the kind of start they want.
And then last night, Army with the win over Rice, 14-7. Not too bad there.
That's a little surprising. I thought it might be a little wider numbers, 14-7. Not sure if Army did not do anything or Rice played above and beyond. Who knows? But they got to win. That's what matters.
All right, we're going to take a look at the top 25. Here are the games that are underway in top 25. We got one. It's the third quarter, actually, 13:44 to go, and 23rd ranked Washington State taking real care of New Mexico State. 35-7. Again, this is in the third quarter. 35 points in the first half for Washington State there. Nebraska, 24th ranked Nebraska with the win over South Alabama, 35-21. It's 21st ranked Iowa State, barely beating Northern Iowa, 29-26. Do you worry there? I'm not sure.
That's 3 overtimes, I believe.
Yeah. 13th ranked Washington taking care of Eastern Washington, 47-14. So that was an easy one there. Right. Definitely, though, if I'm Iowa State, going back to that one, 29-26, 3 overtimes.
I'm going back to work.
I'm not feeling good.
No.
I'm not feeling good. Duke, they got a chance to make this right in basketball, but today
not on the football field.
No, Duke, you are a basketball school. 42-3, Alabama taking care of Duke, second-ranked Alabama with that score. Penn State does not know the meaning of calling the dogs off as they defeat Idaho today, 79-7. Is there any reason for this at this point? I mean, I know you got to put kids in and tell them, hey, try not to embarrass them, but I can't tell you to stop either.
Right.
I mean, Penn State, come on, 20, 24, 14, and 21, respectively, in all 4 quarters. 79 points. Is that necessary?
No,
That's not
I don't
necessary.
think so. You proved the point long before 79.
25th ranked Stanford with the 17-7 win over Northwestern.
That's an interesting game. Battle of the board scores.
Liberty falls to 22nd ranked Syracuse, 24-0 there. And Dave. I had Oregon picked. To beat Auburn.
I know. I had leading the whole game until...
I had it picked, and Auburn scores 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter, defeating Oregon 27-21. Dave Walsh leads right now in our in-house college football pick'em.
You were ahead the entire night. The only time I think Auburn had the lead is when the final gun went off, which in my case was very good.
So close, but yet so far away. I'll get you back next week.
I know.
Georgia defeats Vanderbilt 30-6 there, so that's an easy one.
Right.
Number 20 ranked Iowa defeats Miami of Ohio 38-14. LSU 55-3 over Georgia Southern. I'm okay with that, actually.
Right.
Then coming up, we got Oklahoma taking on Houston. That's going to be on ABC. That's a Sunday game.
Sunday night game.
And then on Monday, number 9 Notre Dame takes on Louisville. That's going to be on ESPN. So we got
Sunday night game, because after this Sunday, it's pretty much the Shield. NFL henceforth on Sunday.
Crazy college football Saturday.
It was.
You want to look at the SEC? We need to mention one score that really you scratch your head at. Georgia State defeats Tennessee 38-30.
I imagine Coach Seals at Huntington High, I think Tennessee grad and known well over there, is going, what is going on in Knoxville?
Yeah, Memphis beat Ole Miss today, 15-10.
That's big. That's the AAC, and that's one of those schools you got to pay attention to.
Yeah, so I'm just going down the scoreboard here. By the way, Wyoming beats Missouri 37-31 today.
Right.
That's nuts.
That's big. That's an SEC school going down.
That's just crazy.
Right.
I look at the Big Ten here, and you see some of the scores, and you look at like Maryland just defeats Howard 79-0, and
right.
Again, there's no
necessary,
call for that.
Probably not.
Not necessary there.
Not that big.
Nevada beat Purdue 34-31.
That was nice.
Yeah, what's going on there? So Doc Holliday's going to have a field day. Just
That's
say,
right.
hey kids,
that's the same league that Boise's in. I think them in Nevada. So, but it starts Friday night. They're already in game mode.
It all starts Friday night. You're exactly right. We're past the midnight hour, and we want to say goodnight to everyone. So let's go ahead and call it a night. For those of you who listen on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930, back on Tuesday. Monday is Labor Day,
right.
And we got play-by-play action on Monday, so we won't have a show on Monday for the drive. But Tuesday we'll be back, and we'll be ready to go. Get you ready for Boise State. Tuesday is going to be a busy night as well, because we're going to have a Doc Holliday show. We're going to have a Inside Herd Athletics with Mike Hamrick. Of course, we'll have you and me
right.
getting everybody ready for the upcoming game. So we're going to have a pretty
Just
busy
wondering,
night.
Since Doc's calendar is a little different, does your calendar match his, or are you still normal? Is Monday Monday?
Monday is Monday. Sunday is Sunday for
Gotcha.
me, and right now it is Sunday. So
Yes.
Technically we have crossed over
right.
Into the Sunday hour. So let's get our producer Gabriel Sellerts home.